events will be played over the next 11 days. Tonight is the big opening ceremony. We are counting down to that in over 3 hours now. It'll be about a 3.5 hours program at the Alexander Stadium. But ahead of the Commonwealth Games, the big news was that PV Sindhu and Manpreet Singh have been declared as the joint flag bearer for India at the opening ceremony. The athletes are all ready to get there at the stadium in a few hours from now. They have all finished their respective practice sessions, and in the morning, just before she went out for her practice session, I caught up with India's youngest participant in these games, Anahat Singh. She's only 14-year-old from New Delhi, and she will be here playing the sport of squash. India will be represented by 214 athletes at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, and you are looking at the youngest athlete in the Indian contingent, Anahat Singh. She will be playing squash at the games here, her first Commonwealth Games. Anahat, thank you very much for joining us. Talk to us a little bit about the excitement. You are the junior India #1, but this perhaps is your first biggest senior tournament.
It's really different, but also like really exciting because I get to play with senior players from all the different sports and like get to see them around. Like if I meet them in the dining hall or just walking around, take pictures with them, talk to them. So I feel like it's a totally different experience, which I've been looking forward to like throughout since I started playing.
Tell us about this, graduation from junior to suddenly becoming a senior overnight. You were, thrown into the big league.
It is a bit overwhelming because I feel like suddenly, like in a matter of like a few months, I jumped from juniors to seniors. But like I said, I'm really excited because I feel like you only get to play seniors after a certain age, and me getting to do that at a younger age, and like not many people have the option to do that. So I feel like I'm really happy about that.
And you're essentially a singles player, Anahat, but you're also playing doubles here with Sunaina. How has that been going, and how has it been switching from singles to doubles?
I feel like it's quite similar, except it's just two people and it's just helping you out a bit more. But we've practiced quite a bit over the past 1 month, and I feel like we can do quite well.
A lot of people I've been talking to says that she has tremendous power, and her foot movement agility is what sets her apart. Would you say that is something that will help you get closer to a medal? Because you're better than the other athletes in that.
I feel like movement definitely is like better because I used to play badminton and that helped out a lot in my movement. But I feel like there are quite a few aspects, like power. I don't exactly have like the same amount of power the other athletes have. So there are quite a few things missing out, but I feel like I can be a close contender.
And why did you decide to shift from badminton to squash? Because squash is a more intense and a more difficult sport than badminton.
I feel like squash just, fit me better. I tried playing a lot of different sports. Like I was always into sports. Like in school, outside school, I used to play sports like all the time. But I feel like squash is actually the sport that I had the most fun with, and I felt like I'd do best at.
Tell us about little tips that you may be getting from your senior pros like Joshna and Deepika. They have been in the circuit for over a decade now.
One thing that I don't exactly do is like warming up and cooling down. So I feel like that's what they've been telling me throughout the whole tournament, that I need to start doing that to like in the like when I'm like playing senior categories. So that's one thing I've been like told constantly.
You are a class 9 student at the British school. How has it been adjusting, professional sports with your studies?
The teachers are very supportive. Like I'm gonna miss the first 20 days of school for the Commonwealth and like after this World Juniors, but the teachers have all emailed and messaged and like made sure that I'm doing fine, and they'll help me catch up and make sure I understand everything.
And what about your classmates? Are they excited that, you're a part of such a mega event?
Yeah, my classmates, they're all like messaging me and like calling me and stuff and like wishing me best of luck, and I feel like that's really sweet of them to do that.
One question an answer that everyone perhaps would like to know, it's such a big event, it's a massive stage. All the mega athletes say that they have butterflies in stomach, but would you say because you're so young and uninhibited, those butterflies aren't there?
Yeah, because I feel like I don't really have anything to lose here. So even if I'm not able to play my best, it's fine because it's my first senior tournament and I'm gonna like try and do better like the next tournaments, but I'm gonna try my best, of course.
Realistically, what are the targets you're setting for yourself here?
Um, Realistically, I'm gonna try and at least according to the draw I've gotten, I feel like my coaches are saying I can try and reach the quarters and semis if I play my game.
That's in the singles.
Yeah.
And what about the doubles?
Doubles, I haven't really thought of that yet because it's like next week is not starting. Right now I'm focusing on singles.
One last question, Anat. You are also supported by the Virat Kohli Foundation, I believe. To what extent does the foundation support you, and where do they expect to reach you in the next couple of years?
They're really supportive. They like help out in all the traveling and like coaching, and for the past like 1 year I've been with them, and I feel like I don't think anyone really expects that much because like I said, it's my first Commonwealth, but I mean I'm gonna try and do my best and like make people proud.
Well, that's what we are all hoping for and wishing you very best of luck. You are looking at the next big thing in Indian sports, Anhat Singh, and she's not only going to make India proud this time by appearing in her first Commonwealth Games, but also one for the future. Squash is one of the sport India is expected to win big at the Commonwealth Games, apart from weightlifting, wrestling and boxing as well. But one of the big misses this time around has been shooting, and that's one of the elephants in the room that everyone wants to talk about, but not everyone is talking about it openly, given that shooting has been excluded from this edition and from the next edition as well. India in fact, is a country that has had the maximum number of medals from shooting over the last 17 editions of the Games. Earlier today, I had a chat with Olympic legend and shooter Gagan Narang on what it means for India to not have shooting in the Commonwealth Games. Listen in. We are talking about shooting at the Commonwealth Games, and it'll be a big, big miss for India that the shooters are not here, given that it is a sport that has given India the maximum number of medals at any multidisciplinary event. To talk about shooting and its absence, we have the shooting legend with us, London Olympics medalist Gagan Narang. Gagan, you have 10 medals from the Commonwealth Games, not to speak about your Olympic medal here. But overall, India has won over 60 gold medals in shooting. How big a miss it will be for the Indian contingent to not have you guys here?
Well, Rica, it'll be a big miss. In fact, I'm missing them as well. And it's quite odd that I am sitting here and giving you an interview rather than giving you an interview in Birmingham. I think the shooters are a bit disappointed that Commonwealth Games mein shooting nahi hoga. I think it's a big blow, but hopefully the good sense will prevail and we should be back in the Commonwealth fold in the next edition.
Now, Gagan, in 2019, when this decision came through that there will be no shooting, the Indian Olympic Association had even threatened a boycott. As a bargain, they were told that a Commonwealth shooting championship and perhaps an archery championship will be held, but that has not happened. Do you think that could be a reality?
Well, I don't know why that didn't see the light of the day, but I think it was because of COVID. But I'm hoping that, shooting at the moment does not figure in the first list of the 2026 Commonwealth Games in Australia. But I'm hoping that good sense will prevail and shooting will come back into its fold, because if you see, it's not just about Indians winning medals. I think the Australians are also traditionally very good at the sport, and shooting not being there will also cause a dent in their medal tally. So I'm hoping that shooting will be included.
Gagan, we were talking to the Commonwealth Games Federation this morning, and they were saying that a review comes up in a few months' time, and by September probably we will get to know the final list of the sport that are going to be played at the Commonwealth Games. But given how things have gone, how hopeful are you of, shooting, wrestling, and a few other sports being a part of these multidisciplinary events in the long run?
Well, Rica, speaking factually, I think traditionally, we've been doing better in these games, and I don't see a reason. I mean, it's a bit unfair because there's so many young athletes participating across various Commonwealth Games nations that they are being unfair to. And I think I hope that no games are excluded, and in fact, they should include as many games as possible so that the Olympic movement, the spirit of sport is alive and it continues to grow that way.
Now, since I have got you ahead of the games, let me pin you down to a realistic number of medals that we can get from these games.
Well, that would not be a great criteria of judging India's performance because shooting as a sport is not included. So it will be a big dent in the total number of medals. But I think a good success parameter for the Indian team for the Commonwealth Games would be to better their performances sport-wise. So if you would take each sport, for example, we have bench strength in wrestling, weightlifting, badminton, boxing, table tennis, hockey, athletics, cricket. So if they're able to kind of improve their medal tally or the color of the medal in these individual sports, I think that is a good success parameter for the Indians at the Commonwealth Games.
Thank you very much, Gagan, for joining us. And we will keep a track of the games and we'll keep listening to you as the games progress.
Thank you and all the best.
Hey, even though shooting is not there, India is expected to have a grand opening on the 30th of July through a weightlifting medal. That's all I could bring you from Birmingham for the moment. Do keep watching us. We'll be at the opening ceremony tonight as well. Time for a very tiny break on the show. More on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome to another side of Britain.
A side where we discover new flavours on every street corner.
Where we take good times to new heights.
And where ways to get around are limited only by our sense of adventure.
In 2022, come and join us for an unmissable year of celebration.
So get ready to explore different every day.